That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Trey's killing lights. What is going on, One Cats fans? Welcome to Fishing Friday. I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time if the connection's a little bit janky. We are fighting some internet issues today for some reason. We're not exactly sure why, but we're going to do the best we can. If there's a little bit of delay or stutter, I just want to give you guys a heads up that is probably why. Excuse me. I drank a Coke. Now I got the burps. But another Fishing Friday Live. I'm back in North Carolina. Trey and Ben are here. Trey's making a bunch of noise, so my mic's cutting out.
Sorry.
It's probably sounding like
This will be the last one we'll be together probably for what, the rest of the month almost.
Yeah. Well, Raleigh will be going on, so we may not. Maybe we'll try. I have none on my phone.
But
it just came back on. But
Appreciate if you're sticking through. The internet is struggling a little bit, but hopefully it'll clear up here. But we were talking Richmond, Raleigh, Knoxville, back to back. So Ben is going to be on the road. Trey and I will be at Raleigh. I will be at Richmond, and then Ben's going to solo it at Knoxville. So if you're in the Knoxville area and you're looking for a connection with a company, maybe not a bad idea to reach
come
out
on
to
over.
One Cat Fishing
right.
and volunteer some time. You might get a little inside info on how important that could be in an episode that comes out next Thursday. So
the thing about the Knoxville one, the East Tennessee, it's a 4-day show. So it's Thursday. It's like Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The hours aren't as bad. And when I say as bad, they're not as long compared to Raleigh and Greensboro for each day. So for like us, that's awesome. But there's that extra day so everyone can get out there and check out all the vendors and seminars and all that good stuff.
it's pretty cool. Tournament season is right around the corner. We were just talking about that before we went live.
I pulled it up today. I was like, okay, when does all these tournaments start? And so like the last week of January, you got an open. I think MLF has their first one at Toledo Bend. Starts like the 28th maybe. So we're like 4 weeks. We're less than we're like 4 weeks away from tournament season.
Yeah, the
NPFL too. Yeah,
NPFL kicks off at Logan Martin. That's their first derby of the year. So I know a lot of the anglers for the NPFL have been out, pre-fishing and stuff like that, and they just pushed their roster out. So if you guys don't follow the NPFL, go check them out because they got 127 anglers on that roster. So, and then we need to be doing some pre-fishing.
Yep. Yeah, we need to get out there
For
and
sure.
get on some of these lakes we're not as familiar with and do some graphing. So
yeah. Which lakes are you guys fishing? Is it 5? 5
Jordan,
events?
Falls, Mayo, Kerr,
Man,
Gaston.
It's been years since I've been on Mayo.
and then those 5.
And then the
And
championship.
then the
we don't know.
championship we won't find out till the night before, which I'm excited. I know there's some folks that are
I'm
worried
excited
about
too.
that because they're like, what if we go to drive? And I'm like, well, they're probably not going to put it somewhere where you're going to have to drive a long way.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be a Falls or Jordan or Mayo, Kerr, somewhere relatively close, but it's going to be kind of cool to not know until that night before. And it's literally the night before at the pre-tournament meeting. It's a central location. They go, see you at X tomorrow morning, boys. and we're going like MLF Cup style. So
Yeah. I kind of hope it's not on any of the fisheries that we fish.
yeah, it'd be cool if it
throughout
was
the
if
season.
it was like Tillery or Baden or somewhere like that.
Or just something random like you guys are going to Buckhorn Reservoir. You know what I mean? Like
God, I hope
something.
it's not Buckhorn.
Yeah, probably not Buckhorn, but
But I mean, it's gonna be cool. So
Yeah.
that's the fishermen.
It's a championship. How many fish it?
I think it's
You have to fish
4 events?
Four of the 5.
So it's not capped out like top 20 and
no,
top
no, they don't
25.
do it that way.
No, I think it kind of self-selects though. I mean, like not everybody makes every tournament. So, but and then, having the, like the unknown probably deters some people from fishing it. But for me, it's exciting. It's just a different way of looking at it, so.
Because there's no
What's
practice.
up, Frank?
There's no practice,
There's
no nothing, no knowledge. And unless you go back to a body of water that you're very familiar with, like you may have an advantage, but who knows? Could be Sharon Harris. I'm not sure, but
Yeah. Before we get too into it, though, I want to thank our partners, One Cast Fishing.
Five or six more packs.
you should do like,
Yeah, I'm going to email and reach out.
Yeah.
I was going to find out if there's any shops over there that might be interested because
Yeah.
he's got
Yeah.
a connection in because that would be awesome.
Yeah. I wonder how the fishing is over there. I've never.
It's pretty much carp fishing, I think. It's like the big thing.
No, I think they got like pike and all that, the northern type
Oh,
of
yeah, yeah.
styles, different species, but
Yeah.
similar concept of toothy critters.
Sorry, Pete. You were interrupted by the internet, but you said head on over to OneCastFishing.
Yeah, onecastfishing.com. Use the code the OneCast. Make sure you head to Carolina Waters, CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code the OneCast. Save 20% off your order. I've got one of the new hoodies on.
And I'm extremely jealous of that.
Yeah.
And I got to reach out to Nick, and I don't see him on here,
Super
but
comfortable.
I'll be getting one at Raleigh.
So get you one 20% off if you use the code the OneCast, or I'm sure they're gonna have some show specials. And then Eric Schwinn, Mossy Oak Properties, our newest partner. Trey, do you want to read his 40?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are
days right
looking, Eric's a property
Share.
broker, real estate agent, if you want to call him, real estate broker, real estate salesman. But he is focusing his efforts, in the rural environments, but it doesn't mean that he won't help you out with, suburbs and stuff like that. So if you're looking to own your own piece of paradise, hit up Eric. You can contact him at cell phone number 936-494-9686, or you can email him at eschwind@mossyoakproperties.com. That's ESCHWIND@mossyoakproperties.com. He'll help you guys get settled into a new nice country home, or owning a piece of land if you just want it for hunting or fishing, whatever the case may be. So check him out. Eric's a good buddy of ours. And actually, he just went and showed a property today using the side-by-side that I just got. So it's a pretty cool deal. Like, we're continuing to grow that network of small businesses helping us grow this culture.
Yeah, so we're going to go for a little bit. It looks like most of you have left us. I understand our internet is not doing well today, unfortunately, which we've had a good run.
I don't understand it. I mean, one of the things that happened the other day is a couple weeks ago, the water pressure went through the roof. I got a call from my wife, and she was like, our hot water heater is about to explode. So I had to leave work. I came home, called a friend of ours that's a plumber. And he came over, and he's like, he put a pressure gauge up to the water line, and it was the needle was buried out. Well, it come to find out that the county was working on the water system, and they didn't notify anybody. So a lot of times that happens with internet, especially out in the country and stuff like that, where they're digging lines up or they're having interference or whatever the case may be. So, we do apologize for any of the internet lagging and stuff like that. But yeah, really good run last night, because that show that we shot, you guys aren't going to want to miss that. That's going to come out next week. And
it died on us last night.
died. Yeah, but it was like,
we lost about 40 minutes, 30 minutes, but we was in studio, so we didn't actually lose anything.
I've got it on my
we've got all the footage, we've got all the audio. So we didn't actually lose anything, but the last 2 days have been struggling, and now I can't even do a Google.
You know what's great? Have you guys noticed, at least for the internet, it runs off the radio waves, but like when it's cloudy, it's worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I'm like,
I don't know if it's somebody tapping in. I don't know. It's got to be aliens in the clouds or something. Like
Maybe
that.
it
I'm not
is.
sure.
This might be their. They might hit us with the internet first.
Apparently, there was aliens in Miami yesterday.
That whole thing. I mean, we're getting way off topic, and I don't know if anybody can hear this, but that was.
Hey, that's what the internet told me today. I
don't know. There's definitely some weird footage coming out. I mean, well, we don't need to get into it. But it was very odd. Like the whole situation at the airport. Starlink works great. Yeah, I have Starlink too, man, and it is awesome. But unfortunately here, I don't know that it would work too well. We're in the middle of the woods. There's really no open area to set the satellite up. But I mean, that could be something that we could look at. There's a lot of things we can do. And if you continue to support our sponsors who we talked about, that helps us make improvements to things like our internet, because it does cost money, unfortunately, to do this.
It does.
And, we're doing the best we can.
And for anyone who lives in a rural area, there's like 1 or 2 providers.
Yeah.
I think there's only one out here.
Bad or worse.
Yeah, there is one out here. And like even hitting them up and saying I need a dedicated line, it was the same.
He said, I'll make you a jungle antenna.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, nice. Who is that? That said I'll make you a jungle antenna.
I've always wanted to put a Wi-Fi antenna on my house.
Yeah.
And get it to be able to track me when I'm on my boat. So at my lake, I could have full internet service. Be able to stream and do all that stuff. But
we have to pull out the old Special Forces communication.
Oh, that was Jeff. Jeff Horner. Yeah, Jeff, that'd be cool, man. Make us a jungle antenna. We can get the old Starlink up there. That's what I have till I figure out my permanent residence situation down here.
Do you have the home one or the mobile?
I have the mobile.
Yeah,
because I couldn't get the home because I don't own the property. So they won't let me do it. But I mean, the mobile's great. The only difference is they deprioritize it at peak times. So like from 5 to 7, it's a little bit slower than normal. But I mean, I'm still pumping like 40 gigs.
I mean, that's good because
when it's
my parents finally got it. They've been running like 3 megabytes a second for years, and they kept promising fiber will come out here eventually. You guys could have got Starlink 4 years ago and would not have had to deal with this. And they finally got it, and I was back there at Christmas, and it's an amazing. You can actually watch videos.
It's really Starlink's impressive, man. He's done a cool job with that, Elon and the team there. And I know we have friends on the other side of Sanford that have it that don't have.
I know we're going
don't have regular internet, and I've gone over there and watched like football games in full HD the whole time, and it never skips a beat. So that's pretty impressive for satellite.
Yeah.
I run mine through a Dream Machine Pro and 3. I don't know what that means.
WAPs.
What are 3 WAPs?
Yeah, you'll have to fill us in. I'm not.
There's a song called WAPs.
I'm the tech guy for the podcast, and I have no idea what that means.
Like
3 WAPs is something very different to me.
That's because you heard the song.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great point. Like if anybody has, I mean, you guys are obviously putting ideas on here, but let us know what you think. I mean. Guys think like I don't know.
Wireless access points. Okay. Yeah. So we're running a mesh system now to pull from the router, but it's just most of the time it's pretty good, honestly. But it's been the last days have been a little rough. I don't know. Wasn't there like we're not even talking fishing today, but it's fishing Friday. We can talk whatever we want.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like a big ass sun flare or something that was supposed to mess up satellites and all
Again,
that?
that's why there's aliens in Miami.
Yeah.
Wow.
10-foot tall little gray man. I guess that'd be big gray man.
I didn't even see the news story
Dude,
you guys were talking about.
Yeah,
so.
it's wild. So yeah, we're getting off the rails big time. There was literally like it looked like 500 cop cars responding to the airport in Miami, and when it was all said and done, they claimed it was because of a bunch of teenagers fighting at the airport, but like that response didn't make any sense. And then a bunch of videos surfaced where people were like, look there, it's some kind of big gray monster walking between the cop car. And so it's this whole aliens landed at the Miami airport. And and the cops were all there. I don't know. It was a whole
Probably the same things that girl saw on the airplane.
Oh yeah,
lizard. It could have been a bunch of lizard people.
They're not real.
A whole lot of lizard people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not talking anything about.
It doesn't
fishing.
matter. We said
Yeah.
lizard. We use lizards to fish sometimes, so we're good.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all. That's what Fishing Friday is about. We can talk about a bunch of crazy stuff.
I mean, lizard season is coming up soon here for the spawn. So if you don't
Yeah.
fish lizards in the spawn, it's a good opportunity to catch a good fish off the bed. So Ben, you fish lizards in the spawn.
I always have a lizard tied on for my
Mhm.
my Texas rig.
Yeah, full disclosure, I've never used a lizard in the spawn.
No, white debone.
Yeah. Everybody has their thing,
That's all
right?
you need.
I got a couple little things that I'm gonna try this year in the spawn that are a little bit different. So
I got one that you told me about.
yeah.
I remember last year I was using one of the snagless jigs, and I only got out once or twice during the spawn, but every time I threw that jig on it doesn't always happen like this. But last year, every time I threw it on the bed, the first time they bit, I got them in the boat.
Have you tried not putting a soft plastic on it?
Yeah.
Just throw it the way it is.
Yeah, I caught some on bed that way.
Yeah, just a plain.
Actually, it was a swim jig. So like I was just swimming a swim jig down, and it was kind of early morning, and I bumped something. I was like, "Oh, there is a bed down there."
Yeah.
And so I think when it bumped it, I had a Kitech on, so it was soft. It ripped off. I just ripped it off and tossed the jig back down there, and he ate it right away. I was like, okay.
That's the beauty of the spawn. Like you can play around with so many different baits and
Mike Johnson Willow vibe, baby. Yeah.
all the
I
willow
love some,
vibe.
but you bought them all. Yeah, and I know that's Jeff that said Gerald Rhodes with the Carolina Rig Lizard. He does. I mean, I've definitely donated money to Gerald.
Carolina rigging in the spawn.
He throws it all year round.
Really,
Doesn't matter.
So I
like-
will say, like at Harris, that could be a very effective technique
Yeah.
because you throw that Carolina
My
rig
biggest-
lizard out there in front of those reeds.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not right up against it because you know how they spawn.
Yep.
Especially now, they're not always right up in it.
Yep.
You just drag that thing
My
along
biggest
parallel
fish-
to it, and
My biggest fish off of Harris have all come on a Carolina Rig Lizard.
Really,
Yeah, black
just a
black lizard with blue.
my
The Berkeley one, the big one, the Magnum lizard, black with blue appendages.
Okay.
And that was the only thing I would throw on that lake for a long time. I didn't fish it a lot, and then I started fishing with Trey and learned some differences.
my previous
Throws it in the
PB
pads on the river. I can't imagine fishing the road, throwing a Carolina rig up in the pads, but I mean, it makes sense why it would work. I mean, you get a lizard, you drag it through there, like it's different. It's not something they see.
Yeah.
in
I can just imagine
I
that
just
hook
can't
set
do
with like a 1 ounce weight just flying back at your face, just like wrapping around your face, like I just feel like, but also in the spawn too is it's time to pick that frog up, man.
Yeah.
Like it's so fun. Like the spawn is fun. It gets frustrating though, but it's super fun. It's time to experiment with stuff. And if you haven't thrown a jerk bait over a bed, just throw a jerk bait over a bed.
that we've been
Well,
asking folks. One of the ones that haunt you. One of the ones that haunt me was a jerk bait over a bed.
Really?
So this was down at Lake Watery. The water's about 3 feet high down there, and so I don't know if you guys ever been on Watery, but there's a lot of the houses have seawalls, right? So the water was just up over the seawall, and the fish was bedding up on the seawall basically in people's yards because it was about 3 feet high. And well, there was about 4 buck bass on this one bed. So I'm sitting there working it. I can't get any of them to bite. I'm using all the different baits. It's like, I'm going to throw this jerk bait up there. And so I'm working the jerk bait across. But when it came over that seawall, there was a 6-7 pound bass sitting there that you couldn't see. And she came up and hit it. I had my boat up against one of the docks that were there. And I went the wrong way. Instead of going left to deep water, I went with her to the right. She wrapped me up for that dock. She came and jumped. Well, I'm still wrapped up, and that jerk bait was just halfway in her mouth.
Yeah.
And then she broke me off. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That would have won me the tournament.
So if I'm fishing a tournament like and they got to be hooked in the mouth, a jerk bait is a very tricky one to throw. I mean, obviously,
yeah, I wouldn't throw it.
it's a tricky one to throw in the spawn because obviously we know they're not eating. But if you're just fun fishing or you're fishing tournament where it doesn't matter if they're hooked outside the mouth, it's a great way to catch some fish. And you can ask Mike. Mike's on here right now, I think. But he has a little trick down in Florida that I kind of picked up here, and it works pretty well. And
Buzzbait.
Yeah.
buzzbait,
Rodney
but
just put up their buzzbait over the bed.
it drives them crazy. So
can
does
work.
so does a Bangalore.
Big
I'll
glide
just say
bait.
that.
Yeah, that's not really a secret.
No, it's
That's
not.
a Florida staple, bed fishing.
But it works up here too.
oh
you
yeah,
know?
no, I mean, my issue, I threw a bunch last year during the spawn, and I had a lot of fish come up and look, but not eat it. Like
Yeah.
you see them come up, and then you're like, oh, give it a little twitch, and then they just kind of suck right back down. You're like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
But I know when they eat it, they smoke it. But a big glide bait's another really good,
Yep.
a really good bed bait. You bring it over the top of the bed and
Yep.
just kind of let it do its thing, and they don't like that big profile bait. I spent Gaston last year in the tournament. I found a big one, and I mean it was big for any lake, not just for Gaston. We know Gaston doesn't have a ton, but it was every bit of 7.
Mhm.
I found her on a bed, and she was in a really weird spot, and I got her to grab my D-bomb twice, but just grab the back paws. And then I didn't have anything going that day. So I spent like 4.5 hours trying to get that fish to eat. Cause I
Yeah.
knew if I can catch that, I'm at least going to
Get
at
big
least get
fish.
big fish check. Right.
Yeah.
And I had her 4 or 5 times come up and swat a big glide bait and then a big swim bait. And then I would switch to something else and just could never get a hook.
You didn't throw a casting net over?
I was trying to figure out if I could somehow spear her,
Number
keep her
10
alive.
size, like a 10 treble hook. Yeah.
Shaky head. I mean, I threw everything in there except for a wacky rig because of where she was. If you'd have hooked her on a wacky rig,
You
it
would've
would have
lost
been
her.
0.3 seconds and it would have been over.
Yeah.
Trey, you mentioned like experimenting. It's a great time when you can see them.
Yeah.
Something I don't know if I read this or I saw this a few years ago, but then I tried it and it does work. So take out your big heavy flipping gear, 1 ounce weight. And so when you flip in there, now that weight falls down first, but you can really keep that bait in place and just
Yes.
work it right there. You know, even like with a jig, like it's going to move back, but that big 1 ounce with that line just through it, you can just let it sit there and just kick those
Yeah.
tails all day.
I usually bed fish with a 3/4 or 1 ounce
Yeah.
just because you can really put it there. And
Hmm.
you've probably seen like Cook and them do it, but once I get it on the bed, I can hold the rod and then just smack the butt and it'll
Mhm.
just sit there and it'll just do that. And it drives.
I even
me
got to
freaking
where I'll
nuts.
just where the line is at my reel, I'll just go like this,
3/4 on Togi.
up and up and down. So it's just clicking that weight
Yeah.
and it's just moving that.
You really can learn a lot. Bed fishing's an art, and I've put a lot of time into it the last few years just because it's fun. I mean, I like sight fishing, but I think I know my dad hasn't done it a bunch. And when you had your tournament last year, we came down and there were fish starting on the beds, and it was kind of a tough day. But I found some bed fish, and it was on hair, so they got to be over. They got to be 20. So you look at them, you're like maybe. Of
Yeah.
course, they're all 19.5.
Yep.
But my dad couldn't believe like you'd pitch it in there and they weren't really interested. And then I'd throw that big 3/4 over it and wind it as fast as I could and smack that fish right in the head and let that bait fall and make a circle. And you do it again. And about 3 times you hit that fish with that weight. And eventually he gets mad. You swim it in there, sees it coming, and it goes,
Yep. You
got it.
literally have to
Like, you can-
piss the fish
oh, yeah.
off.
yeah, when
Yeah.
they're locked on, you can get away with so much. And it's figuring out those little things like
That's why I have so many rods on my deck in the spawn, because I could pitch in there with 1 or 2, like 1 or twice. I'd be like, nah, this fish doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
And sometimes like the beds could be right next to each other, like 10, 20, 30 yards away.
Yeah.
One wants a little bitty white TRD on a Ned, and the other one wants a 1 ounce flipping bait, and
Yeah.
another one wants a jig, and another one wants a glide bait. It's just
I can say like 70% of the fish that eat it on the first drop in the bed, I miss. Because I'm just like, it's almost like you're surprised. Like flipping in there, bring it, drop it in the bed, and they're like, and you're like, oh, it actually ate it. And I end up choking. But the other fun thing about bed fish, and to the detriment of the fish sometimes, is if you get a hook in them and lose them and you leave for 5 minutes and come back, you can probably get them to bite again. I mean, I had one on.
oh, I've got the same fish multiple times.
I had one in a tournament on. It's actually on my TikTok on. What's the Lake James?
Mm-hmm.
And I hooked that fish like 3 times before I finally got a hook and it was able to land it.
Was it a smallmouth?
No,
Largemouth?
largemouth. Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy actually caught
Smallmouth are a little tougher to get to bite the second.
yeah, so
In the same day, you can usually go back the next day, but
I've recovered I think in 2021, I recovered 3 hooks that broke off in fish that I had broke off in fish. My buddy did it. He recovered one of my hooks. But if you're trying to catch the biggest bass of the year, like get out there in the pre-spawn, like that February. Now to February, I mean, they're going to be full
January,
of eggs.
February, March,
and they're just going to be massive.
And they're eating.
And they're eating, right? Getting ready to get beat up for however long they're going to spawn for.
They're tough. They're a lot harder to catch. Everybody's like, they don't eat. They still eat.
Yep.
They don't eat as much.
Look,
And their metabolism slowed, so those meals last a lot longer. They pack the weight on. They're eating a lot more higher fat content food.
it's 2024 now. That means they're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They're ready.
They're ready to go.
Yep.
As DC says.
Yeah. They ain't going to catch themselves. So, but yeah.
No. What's this thing? He did a last show.
Oh, when he's like, water hit 60 degrees, I seen them moving up. They ain't moving up. It's been 60. They ain't moving up.
Who said I like Cinco's and Shaky
That
Head?
was probably Jeff. Or Terry.
So, that's what Ben was talking about, having an arsenal on the front deck of his boat. A wacky worm or a weightless Cinco or a weightless bait, whatever you throw, is a staple bait for me. It's primarily a wacky worm. But you also you get to see fish behavior change in different coves by different beds. I mean, from bed to bed will be different.
Yeah.
So having something that's weightless that flutters down to something that's weighted to something that moves it gives you an opportunity to really just use everything. So if you're sitting there and you're working a bed fish and the only thing you're doing is flipping in there with a 3/8 ounce weight with a creature bait on it, change it up, and I'm guilty of it because you get so honed in on a fish. But this past year, I experimented with a ton of different baits, and hovering a floating bait over the top of their head can make them react a lot differently than a Cinco floating down.
So there's a bait that came out, and I'll give a little secret juice that I found last year. There's a bait that came out after the spawn sort of started last year, and it's a great bait. I've caught a lot of fish on it, but it really shined in the spawn, and that was the Yama Tanuki.
Yeah.
I was able to swim it and then drop it, and instead of with a wacky rig, it falls this way, right? That Yama Tanuki falls front to back, and it just
almost like a
different
feather
fall.
Yeah.
And dude, I would bring it over the top of the bed on those fish and stop it, and it would usually be about one swoop, and they would come up there and freight train that thing.
Yeah.
If I couldn't come on, I'd prefer to catch them on a flipping rod because I have heavier line and everything. But I caught a lot on that bait. So if you're having bed fish and you can't get them, that's a good bait to try. Like you said, fluttering, but it's still heavy enough that if they don't eat it on the fall, that thing weighs 5/8 or something. It'll sit there on the bed, and you can still kind of work it. I mean, it's not going to sit there like a Texas rig or something will in the bed kind of look. And it was a versatile bait, and I caught quite a few really nice fish in the spawn and post spawn on that. Charles said, Nico, you're banned. No, I'm just kidding.
so Charles and I fished last year. We fished the PBC together.
Oh, Sam, happy to brother.
And Charles he's deadly with a Nico rig. It's a bait that I don't, or a Neko rig, however you want to say it. And it's if you don't throw it, it's a wacky style worm with a nail weight in it and stuff. So, but you have to position your hook the right way. So it's very imperative. So if you don't know how to do it, jump on YouTube and check the Neko rig or the Nico rig. But it's deadly. And Charles actually did a really good job on Bugs Island because we were struggling the first tournament there, and then we found something out. Gosh, it was towards the end of the day. We didn't have a fish in the boat. Oh, geez, until maybe 1:30, something like that. And then we just found a pattern. I think we ended up putting 3 or 4 in the boat. I think we finished 19th or something. But anyways, it was the Nico rig, man. It's deadly, and it's a great bait. So they all have a purpose for sure.
Yeah. Again, appreciate everybody hanging out. Our numbers came back up a little bit. I know the video quality is not the best tonight. It looks like our audio is doing pretty well. I pulled it up just to look. We're fighting some internet issues. So if you're local to Sanford and you're like an internet guru and you want to hang out with us and maybe have a beverage, talk fishing and take a look at our setup. If you think you can help us, let me know and let Trey know, let Ben know, let one of us know, and we'll try to make something happen because I'm the tech lead, if you want to call it that, and I don't know anything. Like I'm lucky we can get this thing to record and we're
Chief Technology Officer.
When it comes to internet,
we work with what we got.
I will you guys had when the spawn happens this year, you guys got to come down and do some sight fishing.
Yes.
Hopefully we get some underwater footage too. So last year,
underwater footage, before you get too far, Destin is selling a drone.
Yeah. Did you
underwater drone?
Yeah. If you're interested, he gave me a price. I asked for you. We can talk about it after.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah.
I told him you were interested, and I would let him know. So
Okay.
He said he'll deliver it on his way to the Harris Chain, so you save on shipping.
Just have to let
Anyway.
look at it. But because last year I tried to. Last year there was this bedding fish and a boat slip. So like I pulled my boat off the side. I get out into the water, and I tried to rig up a big long pole with my GoPro and all, and the pole floats, so it didn't do it. But I get that camera like as close to the bed as I can, and this fish isn't moving, so he's locked on. I climb back in the boat, work it, catch it, and then I go look at the footage. It wasn't there.
Really?
The angle was off because I'm just like, well, it looks pretty good. And where he bit out was a little bit off camera.
I mean, I wonder. So you know how you Bluetooth to your phone with the new GoPros. I wonder if once it's in the water, if you would still be able to make that connection to actually see the animal.
So I still have, I think the Hero 10s or whatever. I've tried that before.
It's probably as soon as you put it in the water.
Same thing if I use a phone case and then try to use it on my watch. As
soon as it submerges,
those radio waves aren't going through the water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just like our internet's not going through the air.
Our internet, the aliens in Miami intercepted it. Jeff, you had 2 baits. I use them a lot up north. I haven't really messed with them much down here, but it's something that's on my agenda.
Yeah.
I know some guys that flip tubes and stuff, and they do really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the name of the company. He'll be at Raleigh, though, because he comes every year. He makes a big, it's like a 5.5 or 6 inch tube. And I've been eyeballing them, and I've talked to him, and he's like, come see me, and I'll get you hooked up. And I keep forgetting to. So I'm going to go see him this year because I think that's one of those baits.
You said the Raleigh?
He'll be at Raleigh.
Yeah. So speaking of the Raleigh Fishing Expo, which is next weekend, and if you guys are in town in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, go check it out. We'll be there. One Cast Fishing will be there. Carolina Waters will be there. But I just saw a post that Van Dam's going to be there Friday only. And then Timmy Horton.
Brian through.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Pete.
We just talked about it.
Oh, did we?
Well, you weren't in here. But
okay. Yeah. But it's going to be cool, man. So it's always a good time.
We're going to try to get KVD in studio Friday night. No, I'm just kidding.
Charles, be there. We'll see you there, man.
So just schedule. Ben will be there, obviously, with his booth every day. Saturday, I'll be there floating around. I know Trey and I will be with Carolina Waters from 2 to 5 on Saturday. I didn't tell Trey yet, but that's the time we're going to be there.
Okay, we'll be there from 2 to 5.
2 to 5 Saturday. Trey and I, and Ben, if he can get away for a little bit, we'll be obviously hanging out there. We'll be at One Cast Fishing booth, obviously some. I have some time scheduled at Cash and Sunday as well. So if you're up there, come talk to us. We'll be in one of the booths somewhere doing something cool. Probably not.
Hey, and you know what, man?
Just talk about fishing.
Well, I mean, and it goes without saying, like we want to, continue growing this industry, growing this culture. But like, if you have small business that you're starting up in the industry or whatever, like, come see us, man. Like, if you got a really cool, interesting story, like, we'd love to bring you on the show and talk about it. So, but yeah, what else about fishing? What else is going on?
Oh yeah, I want to mention. I just got a message last night from one of the Carolina Waters pro staff guys, John House. He's over in the Lake Norman area, and I'm not going to play the video because I don't want to kill our internet too much, but he is running what looks to be a really cool kayak tournament that's going to be it's going to be for a veterans charity. I'm going to play the video because I can. And once he has this video sent to me, I'll do it, but it's for a charity that helps veterans get housing. So Purple Heart Homes is the name of the organization. It's a 501c3. He's running that in association with you guys are talking about pre-spawn and shoveling. So sorry, Charlie. Yeah, we'll be pre-spawn fishing Sunday.
Your fish are pre-spawn up there too.
Yeah,
man.
they're just way pre-spawn. But anyway, so he's running that tournament. It'll be on Lake Norman July 13th. So it is going to be a little busy, but it's going to be a good tournament. If you're in that area, you're a kayak angler, make sure you check it out. Once I have the flyers and all those details, I'm going to post that up. I offered our services without telling Ben and Trey because anything for the vets I'm into, and I did some research on the organization stuff, and they have a really solid mission. So, I don't know, in some capacity, I'm sure one of us will probably help a little bit, but more to come. So that is going to be July, 13th or 14th, July something on Lake Norman. Just mark your calendars for a Saturday in July. It's the 13th on Lake Norman kayak tournament, benefiting. What was the name of the
Purple Heart
Homes.
Mm-hmm.
So check them out. This is a little bit scatterbrained because he just sent it to us last night. I'll have way better details, and I'll be sharing that with everybody. We'll be talking again. It'll be time to talk special operations bass anglers tournament again. I 1,000% will be there fishing again next year. I had
I'm
blast.
going.
Yeah. It was a great tournament. That was on
Norman.
Yeah, on Norman. Open is coming to Santee. Any of you guys going down? I thought about it, but I don't know if I will.
I don't know. Not going down to fish it. I'm not going down, Charles. But I mean, if I don't know if I'll go.
The
down
opens
to that
aren't it's cool, but it's not like the weigh-ins there.
I'll be honest, because they'll have live coverage. So like, if they crush them on the last day,
yeah,
maybe I'll go down there the next day.
Yeah,
and go to the exact same spot.
Yeah, we'll be early for the elite event because I'm going to marshal that one, and then I have some media right along scheduled for the practice stuff. So we'll be at that one. At least I will. You should fish with me at Norman, Pete. I don't know who said that, but I'm in. Jeff, yeah, I'll fish with you, man. Let's do it. That would be fun.
It's tomorrow.
Okay. I'll leave it. Dude, nothing is going to faze me at this point. Like, this has been, I've traveled most of my adult life, but this week has been extraordinary. So, like, we were going to leave and come back Monday from Pennsylvania for the holiday. Hammered. Well, we didn't get hammered with snow. We got snow, but the mountains of West Virginia where I have to drive through got a huge ice storm. So I said, you know what? I don't need to really be back till Wednesday. Let's just leave Tuesday morning. Well, Tuesday morning, I get a call. Hey, you have to be in Greenville, South Carolina Wednesday morning. I'm like, awesome. So I drove 8 hours back to North Carolina Tuesday and then had to be up at 3 a.m. to drive the 3.5 hours to Greenville, sat in a class the entire day, and then drove back 3.5 hours, was at work yesterday morning for 6:30, whatever. And I'm like dead right now.
I don't blame you for not driving back in the
But I will be at Norman if I need to tomorrow. So
yeah.
What's up, Elijah? But Jeff, let's talk, man. I'd like to do that. And you got that new Nitro. I need to go run around in that bad boy.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that one.
What else is going on?
North Carolina. What's up, Larry? Happy New Year, bud. Larry's a guy we need to get in here. So Larry, hit me up. Let's get something going because
Larry, we miss you, bro.
You've got a cool, you did a live with us.
The live at the Classic was awesome.
You've got a really cool kind of into the industry. And you're just a cool dude and have an awesome story.
Larry, shoot us a message after this and let's get you scheduled to come on the show, man, because it was a blast hanging out with you in Knoxville and we need to do it again. So
selfishly, I just want to hang out with Larry.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But locally, North Carolina news, you sent some out. I guess the big one is the what's the word I want to use? The not extermination, the elimination of the L15.
Yeah, so if you're a tournament director in any capacity in North Carolina, you used to be you would apply for your permits, at the end of the year for the following calendar year, and what was called the L15 licenses, which just gave you your permits for your specific NWR or what is it, NCWRC boat ramp permits. But now they changed it to where, and somebody posted this on the community page, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, that was Zach, man. Voorhees. Which Zach, not to cut you off, sorry we didn't get a chance to talk at Cashin for the customer appreciation. It was super busy. I saw you there rocking the hat. Appreciate you, but like, Yeah, we got pulled in 900 different directions. You were chasing your little one around. It just
Yeah, I was
but-
flipping jigs with Mike Corbishley. So
Yeah. Anyway, the
But yeah,
L15
so,
tournament.
so yeah, anyways, now what they're saying for tournament directors or anybody wanting to host a tournament, you can't apply for the boat access permit until 90 days out from that date, and you have to pick the exact date. So it just makes it puts a little bit more constraint on the tournament directors, and it's probably going to pose some challenges for some of the bigger tournament circuits. But they're gonna make it work.
See, I think
So,
you'll have less challenges as a big circuit. I think what it's going to hurt is the small like 5-10 boat, like throw together clubs and stuff that do those
Yeah.
events. Because now, if my big tournament director has that date, that's the only permit. they're
That's
gonna
true.
do.
I don't.
Which
think-
it's good for because
Yeah.
I've been at the Roanoke where they have those blanket permits, and there's 6 clubs that show up to the 2 ramps, and you have
yeah,
parking for 50 boats, and there's
Yeah.
500 people trying to park. So, like, from a safety standpoint, and like
pressure.
parking, the pressure is what it is. Like, it's probably gonna get that pressure anyway.
Yeah.
They'll find somewhere to put their boat in the water, but a bunch of people trying to launch their boats, blasting off like from ramps that are stacked down the river and things like that. It's scary, man. Like, if you're blasting off and going down river, and you got a club blasting off down, and a bunch of them guys want to come up, like,
It's like
everybody's running wide open past each other, and the Roanoke's not, the safest river in the world if
Sure.
you don't know it to run. And so I get, like, I can see it from that aspect, but again, it hurts those little clubs that are like, hey, we want to do a tournament in May. They would grab
Yeah.
a permit.
I don't think like the 5-10 boat ones are really going to matter. They're just going to go do it.
yeah,
But what it will hurt are like the Tuesday nighters when you have
Yeah.
30 or 40 boats show up.
And
yep.
they, we say they're going to do it, but it also comes down to how much is the NCWRC going to like? Are they going to be
Are they
there
gonna
Saturday
outsource it?
morning and
So-
say, hey, where's your permit? You
Yeah,
don't have one. And
Well,
then-
like my point was with the small 5 to 10, because like I'm sure we've all done it. Like 5-6 different guys show up, and we're doing like a 6-hour one fish, right? Big fish, kind of little derby.
so
but-
you could get away with that if you weighed them on the water.
That's
like,
that's what I
That's
was gonna
what
say.
we
So
do.
so we had a tournament a few years ago. I'm not going to say the name of the organization I was with, but they didn't have a permit for a certain lake, and so we just did it on the water. Like, we beached on a peninsula, and we did the weigh-in right there.
There's a club or a little organization that does that, where they just meet like at the launch in the cove, and everybody, you pull your boat up next, hand your fish over, they weigh them, and then dump them right in.
Yeah.
So you don't technically need a permit.
And this is only for the North Carolina wildlife ones.
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
NCWRC.
So I know like the core ones. I know here at Jordan, they pretty much stopped issuing for pose.
Yeah, so pose is from May to September. They will not give a launch permit for a tournament anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of those Wildcat tournaments in the summertime caused a lot of bad PR for bass fishing.
They kill a lot of fish.
Because there was a big fish kill and stuff like that. So specifically at Pose a couple years ago, but it happens in all the lakes. I know they try to do their due diligence, and when the water temperature reaches like the high 80s and stuff,
They
they
go
do
to
3
3
fish
fish,
limit and stuff. But still, like, these guys are so good, they're targeting the biggest bass in the lake. They're catching 5+ pounders, and a lot of times
And-
they're not fizzed right.
And a lot of those guys are good with fizzing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they know how to, but it's the folks that come out and fish those that don't know that end up.
yeah.
And even if you know how to fizz a fish, like 92-degree water on Jordan, fizzing, not fizzing, like it, there are some serious concerns.
To
with
be
people
honest,
fishing.
I think I won't say you don't need a fish or Jordan, but most of the time they're not coming from deep enough.
no, I can get you folks on here that have
But
video and picture evidence of fish dying from barotrauma that were caught in a foot of water.
I mean, it happens.
Mm.
But-
You 100%
but-
have to fish on Jordan.
But I think the bigger problem is why those fish are dying is they're losing oxygen in the live well.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
they are.
yeah.
I mean that's the because like look, I've I'm sure a lot of those fish were fine most of the time.
Yep.
They didn't turn belly up until they started to put them back in.
Yeah.
So
If
it's just
you-
that stressed out, no oxygen, 92-degree water. They probably didn't do any of the additives, ice.
Yeah.
They probably,
I'm going to get the fizzing guru on here, but if you catch a fish in over 10 foot of water, 99.9% of times that fish is going to need fizz or it's going to die. It may swim away and seem perfectly fine, but it's going to have air build up in its air bladder and it's going to die and it won't regulate.
Here's a question for the crowd, and I don't know this. So boaters obviously, traditionally fizz fish. Do kayak anglers carry fizz kits with them when
They're responsible ones, do.
Yeah. So I will say the other day I was out on a lake and
Fizz Harris is gonna like you fish.
well, that's
No, I'm
not
just kidding.
true. But there was some fish floating belly up, right? One of them, I tried to fizz this fish and there was no fizz in this fish. Like I couldn't do it. I tried 4 times on this fish, two on one side, 2 on the other. But I was always curious about that. Like kayak tournament anglers, do they actually fizz fish? Because they catch, take picture, and then throw the fish back. A lot of times those fish will go down.
Yeah.
And then they won't come back up for a couple minutes later.
I've had them in
you
the
know what I
live
mean?
well 3 hours before they show signs of barotrauma and start to flip upside down and get that bloat belly.
But either way, whatever. What else is in news? So the ramp permits we talked about, F1 bass stocking, and we're getting some of the information from the NCWRC website. So they have news articles and stuff that are down below, and they break it down by month. And so one of the ones in December was also the F1 bass stocking.
Yeah, they did that back in
that one. There was one that was published in December 12th.
Yeah, but they did the actual dump in September, I think.
Yeah, and I think they got funding. They got $30,000 more worth of funding, and they're going to run that study through 2030.
Well, that was already the plan.
Yep.
Remember we had Corey on, so yeah, but that 30,000 was additional. So that was, we put it up on the thing to donate if you wanted to. I know I made a donation. Some other folks, I think Ben made one.
I kicked $100.
Yeah. But they so the anglers pulled that money, and then I'd have to go back with Corey, but I believe they had the funding and then they matched whatever the anglers were able to fundraise. So essentially the angler organization was NC Anglers for Bass, I think was the name of it, or NC Bass for something. We'll get it and correct it.
Actually, I would like to have them on the show too.
Yeah. And I have the contact with the guy running that. And I've been in contact since the classic with him. It's just he had some personal issues and stuff. But they what's up, Paul? Paul smashed him on Harris this morning.
Did he?
Yeah.
Paul, you didn't hit me up, man. What's going on?
So that 30,000 was raised by anglers and then matched by, so that's an additional $60,000 in funds to stock those F1s. And then like Trey said, they're going to stock them through 2030, and about 2030 is when we'll know how the 2023 stocking was. Cause I think he said it was about 4 years before those fish sort of got to that good adult size where they can really see how it took. Where they're of spawning size, so it's interesting to see. But it's also it's very I'm trying to think of the word that I want. It's very comforting, exciting. It makes me happy to see anglers kicking that much, because I really didn't know. There's still a lot of hate on the program, like. So in one of the Facebook groups, I'm not going to mention the name, Swimbait Universe. Somebody posted about it. And dude, like, people were angry about it. They're like, so they're purposely stalking non-indigenous fish. They're invasive. They're this, and it's like, bro, we got F1s already.
Yeah,
here. Like, our fish are mutts. They're Florida strain, northern strain. It's all mixed together at this point.
Yeah,
a largemouth bass is a largemouth bass, right? They're still, and Corey explained that. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't. We're gonna have Corey on again to talk about all this, but. A largemouth is a largemouth. Yes, the Florida largemouth is a different species, but it's still a largemouth. Like, it's not like
it's not a spotted bass. Yeah,
it's not going to overtake a fishery, and it's not going to outcompete, native largemouth. They're going to crossbreed, and then you're going to get F1s, F2s, F3, and then eventually, that strain is going to be so convoluted. It's where we are today. Where
I wonder if it'll make the winter bite better. Like,
yeah, so Florida bass hate cold, but the benefit of the F1, if you remember, Corey, was
50%.
Yeah, but and if you remember the specific benefits, where you got the feeding and the growth rate of an F1, but the cold water resistance of the northern, and that's kind of how the split occurred. So
you may see
can it get better than 40-pound bags?
I was just going to say you might see 45,
50-pound
bags
in 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. And Paul, you're gonna
What
need
do you
a
think, man?
Paul said I'm gonna need a motorized scooter to get to the damn boat from the truck in 2030.
Yeah, you're gonna be in a boat by then. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You're a good one to ask, Paul. You're a kayak guy. I've been doing it. Do you carry a fizz kit in your kayak to fizz fish in tournaments and stuff? Trey asked that question. I know there's a few folks that I know that do it at a a higher level, like the Hobie BOS, the BASS kayak tournaments. With the yeah the size of a Volkswagen. I seen it.
Did you guys? Because I was just flipping through the NC wildlife page. Did you guys know there's a Barton's bass?
No.
It's only in the Chattahoochee River portion
Mhm.
of the state and one other little river. And then they're in the Savannah River watershed. And they go
Barton's bass.
Yeah, but it's listed its own species on the state website.
Huh.
Interesting.
5 to 15 inches.
You know, there's a lot more species out there than I know about. Like I hear people talk about what are they what are those shoal bass?
You got
You know?
I think the last video I did that there was like 9 or 10 recognized actual species. It's because they have Guadalupe, you've
Guadalupe
got,
bass, yeah.
the red shoal, red eye bass,
I want to
shoal
go catch
bass.
some big shoalies down there. Like I know some guys in the Georgia area that fish for them. They're like a smallmouth spot crackhead fish. Like they are a fighting little water, little creeks, little rivers.
That's the beauty we get now that we have DNA and genetics. You can really tell the difference.
All right, Paul, we know you don't have a fizz kit, so we're going to school you up. And then who said that from Hartwell? Who's at Hartwell right now?
Justin Wood.
What's up, Justin?
Appreciate you jumping on.
Justin, if you're a Hartwell local, man, I'm going to need to come down and link up with you, but I'll tell you, Hartwell is awesome.
Yeah, Paul, those fish still need fizz, but like we were talking, and I'm gonna get a fizzing expert on here, the person that kind of wrote the book on fizzing. What's up, Destin? So a lot of times those fish can swim away, and it can take minutes to hours for that barotrauma to actually take effect, and it still kills those fish. So there's definitely some need. It doesn't matter how quickly you release them, that damage is still done. But we're gonna get somebody on to talk more about it.
The challenge I see with a kayak angler and fizzing a fish is you just don't see the you don't see the
effect.
You don't see it, right? You don't see it. So like the only way I would really know is if I caught a fish and it had barotrauma, I released it after I got done measuring it, and then I'm still fishing the same area and I see it resurface. And that's what happened the other day when I was out on Harris, as I saw some fish resurface. And, I was like, okay, granted, it's not going to kill the population, right?
No.
So we got to do the best we can to, preserve it. But yeah, you are talking shit, Paul.
Cheesy mac and cheeseburger. Love you, Paul.
Yeah, we love you, Paul. I'm gonna have to take you out again, man. We had a blast this year, Paul.
Yeah, I was jealous.
Yeah, Paul and I went out. Paul, if you guys don't know, Bass and Brews podcast, but those guys had us on very first few episodes, I think, or something early
on when we started.
It was about a year ago.
Yeah, it was about a year ago, and it was a great time, man. Those guys are a riot. So Paul, we appreciate you and Alex and stuff. So, but we'll have to bring you guys on the show sometime. So that'll be a fun.
Yeah, that'll be one. We'll probably have to throw the explicit tag on, but I'm
yeah.
With it. I had a lot of fun on that.
Yeah, that was.
If you guys haven't checked out Paul and them Bass and Brews podcast, it's a little bit different from what we do. But it's a good time, man. I listen. I'm always laughing. You guys crack me up.
Yep,
and
for sure.
Your questions at the end are great. So he said Hartwell's on fire. Justin Wood did. I've never fished it. I always plan to. Haven't made it down.
Hartwell is it's like everywhere you go is a freaking cane pile, brush pile, man.
So it's like Lanier.
It's like Lanier, but yeah, it's just like Lanier, but it's a really cool place, man. And I only got to fish it once on our way down to the MPFL tournament. But
Paul said we'll have to tag it explicit, and this is not the views nor expressions of the One Catcher. Come on, y'all ain't that bad. No, the great podcast, man.
Yeah.
Y'all love you guys, but yeah. So Trey, they could fish like half a day on.
Yeah, I did the better half of the day and just targeted brush piles and just ran around the lake. But I didn't get the opportunity to go up to Seneca which is where a lot of the people really target largemouth and stuff up there. But I know John Branch, who's part of the Army Outdoors team, he was out there the same day I was. I fished the lower half of the lake towards the dam. He ran up to Seneca, and then the following day I was going to go back, but I didn't. And John took a guy from a recruiting station, and they went up there and they didn't catch a single fish.
Yeah.
But it was, like water turning over that time of year and stuff. But regardless, like that is a place where if you don't know where the brush piles are at, like I feel like you don't need it, but it's a really nice thing to have some forward facing sonar in that lake. So, and the fish are super aggressive, man. I mean, spotted bass are just crazy aggressive, but it's a cool lake. And when it's low, during the drought or a winter drawdown, you definitely have to be really careful on that lake because there's a lot of shoals, a lot of islands, and then some of those brush piles, they're right underneath the surface of the water. So, and I'm notorious for hitting stuff. So clearly,
Paul, you'll see Ben for sure Friday.
Yep.
At the show. I don't know if I'll make it, and I don't think Trey will.
I won't be there.
Yeah. So, but we'll be there Saturday. I'll be there Saturday and probably Sunday. Trey Saturday. I don't know if he's gonna make it up Sunday, but we'll be there this weekend. So if you can sneak away another one of them days.
Yeah.
Hartwell's Fire hit it last time at the Classic. Was there and had a ball in the act. Yeah, Larry, you stay on fish everywhere you go. So
that he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, you got one of the sweetest setups I've ever seen with the kayak hauler in the back of the box truck and all that. Yeah, we're gonna get you on. So
yeah.
Last time I checked, it was almost 8 foot down. Yeah, Justin. And I know they don't do a huge winter drawdown on Lanier or Hartwell or all that. And they were just really, really hammered by the drought that all of us were. I mean, our lakes, Jordan was close to 5 foot low.
Now it's like 6
now it's
feet
like
high.
6 feet high.
When I went over the Mississippi,
Yeah.
it's run dry.
Is it really?
Yeah, there was a section that was pretty well.
Yeah, that section up there by Illinois, Missouri, where the Ohio runs in.
I remember seeing,
Like it's
seeing the
still
news.
low.
Man.
I mean, there's islands out there now that didn't exist. But
That's wild, dude.
I mean, even when we went to the Classic, like it was really, really
The
low
rivers,
there.
yeah.
That was really, really low. So
hopefully all this weather coming the next couple of weeks. There's a bunch of winter storms and stuff. Will
the Tennessee River.
yeah, it was low. Remember for the Classic?
Yeah, but it's
low.
always low that time of
Yeah.
year.
I hear my mom and stuff complain up in Michigan, and I'm like, you guys need snow, and they're like, we don't need no snow, and I'm like, you don't realize that you do need snow. Like the country needs snow. Like
It's
the
not-
resources.
It's changing everything. too,
It is
man. Like,
changing everything. Like we need it, man.
the West needs it.
Yep. So
yeah, Jordan, you ain't gonna be able to fish for the next 2 months, Paul. Like, yeah, we're getting I think a half an inch tomorrow, then we get a reprieve Sunday, Monday, and then 1 to 2 inches Tuesday.
This is what you do that time of year if you get out on Jordan.
I wish this was May.
yeah.
Is
Yes.
that
April.
even this time of year, January, February, if you can find a boat ramp to get out on.
Yep.
How high is it now?
I don't know
I
what the
haven't looked.
level is.
It's
yeah.
probably in the woods.
I know it took 12
But
pounds.
basically,
last
you just go
weekend to
fish the
win.
riprap.
Yeah, go
Right-
fish riprap.
Go fish riprap.
Just go find the most stable water that you can on the lake, and that's usually around a dam or usually around riprap and stuff like that. But
The
yeah,
problem with the dam on Jordan is because that river directly feeds into it.
yeah, it's
I mean,
flowing.
so it's got the most current and it's got the most logs and dirty water floating through there.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. But if you have a strain, like a strain of 3, 4, 5 days of nice sunny weather,
Yeah.
you go find some of that water that is heated up pretty good. Like those fish will move up and stuff.
I mean,
so
if it was May, when you get back to that bridge in Stinky Creek that you can never get to, like there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Don't be giving away all that juice. Yeah, hey, dude, I wish it would be in the bushes in May. It's been a little bit. The dam on Jordan is dumb. Yeah, it's tough to fish. I mean, I've caught some. I'm not gonna say I haven't caught some fish there, but
yeah,
it is tough to fish because you can't get up to the riprap on the dam anymore. That's buoyed off.
yeah,
So you get that kind of side.
And
That you
on
can
the
fish in it.
south side, it's like a straight vertical
It's
wall.
straight. I mean, I've
Yeah.
caught fish on it.
And then on the left side, you got that little pocket there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
By the way, if you're local to the area and you heard about the one of the four or five kayakers that flipped upside down and went missing on the Cape Fear River, close to Let's Landing, they actually just found him.
Did they recover?
Yeah, they did recover him. That was after we got all that rain, so the river was really, really high. But unfortunately, he was found. I mean, fortunately he was found, but unfortunately he had passed away. They found him 3 miles down the river. And I think he was pinned up in some log jams and stuff like
That's
that.
the one there at 42, right?
No, Let's Landing is right up here, actually.
Yes,
It's a different landing.
Where
so-
your life jackets?
Yeah.
Is it south of the Buckhorn or east of the
it's
Buckhorn?
right here. It's like right up the road here. So it's not, it's south of, or it's down the river from Avon's Ferry boat ramp.
Kayakers,
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
24/7, 365 need to have a life jacket. Boaters
Absolutely.
should have one on all the time, especially
Absolutely.
this time of year.
Yep.
I keep mine on pretty good in the winter. I'm not the best in the summer. I don't, and I should, but I don't. But
I know.
It the quickest way to die is the water. And,
Yeah.
and
Especially right now, man.
Jordan. What you sent? I think you sent the article. There was 9 drownings on Jordan last year. Or
Yeah.
It was 9 or
11?
13.
No,
Yeah.
it was 13. 9 the year before, it was 13 in 2023. And every single one of them, they were not wearing a life jacket. And 1000% they would be here today if
Yeah.
they were. That kayaker that Trey was just talking about, no life jacket. And then the other 4 that they rescued, I think they were wearing life jackets.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know.
Especially, I mean, I don't want to knock anybody, but like the river ripping like that, you don't ever go on a kayak without a life jacket.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why the tournament organization's requirement, it's a disqualification instantly if you take it off.
Yeah.
It's not to be a stickler, it's to keep you alive.
Yeah. So
Oh, I hate the cold weather. I can't do it. Although for Christmas, I got a heated vest.
Fishing sandals today. You would be in sandals today, Paul. It's
That's 'cause-
39 degrees.
it's because Paul has that toe fungus to keep his feet
that's
warm.
true. Yeah, he got that extra fur on there.
I will say, the last bit of news in NCWRC is, we talked about boating fatalities and kayaking fatalities, but there has been an increase in firearm fatalities in the hunting season. I think there was like 1 reported in 2021, but in 2023 there was 11 reported. And so as important as it is to wear your PFD while you're boating is just as important to A, practice good firearm safety, and then B, wear some orange in the woods. And that was one of the things that was on the news article, is like people entering into woods that they're not aware of, especially if they're not,
Yep.
outdoorsmen and stuff and hunting season, like
Especially on public land.
public game lands. Exactly. Like it gets pretty daggum dangerous. So, do your part and don't self-select. So
Yep.
I won't do public game lands.
no.
So we'll
Nope.
we're over that hour mark. We try to stick it to. Still quite a few folks on. I appreciate y'all. I know the video wasn't the best tonight. It looks like the sound kept up pretty good. We had a couple little drops fighting that internet issue, but appreciate all of you that were on here. Make sure you check out OneCast Fishing, onecastfishing.com. Use the code the OneCast. CarolinaWatersNC.com. Code the OneCast. 20% off your order there. And check out Eric Schwind if you're in the I'll say the Sand Hills
That's right.
region. If you're looking for a home, if you're looking for land, home with land, all that good stuff, he's with Mossy Oak Properties, our latest partner to come on board. So check Eric out. It's Eric Schwind,
It's
Mossy Oak
it's
Properties.
Schwind.
It's
So,
scrolling across the bottom of the screen
Yep.
too.
there you go. So check out the bottom of the screen.
But yeah, his
CTO
Facebook
doing
page,
his job.
That's
Yep.
right.
His Facebook page is Eric Schwind, Mossy Oak Properties. If you look him up, he posts stuff there. We'll be sharing that. But definitely check him out. And then go on our last 2 episodes. I have his phone number and everything on there. You can get a hold of him, email, phone, let him know what you're looking for, and he'll help make your dreams come true. So again, the hoodies, Carolina Waters just released, Tech Fabric, super comfortable. And what I like most about a good hoodie is when the sleeves aren't too long.
Yes.
So when you're fishing, they're designed for outdoor. You're not constantly trying to pull your sleeves up because they're falling down over your thumb and stuff. That drives me crazy. Listening from Leesburg, Florida, Harris Chain Chumps.
Who's down at the Harris
Mike
Chain?
Johns. He's
Oh,
I'm
Mike
blocking him,
Johns.
So no. Anyway, Paul, y'all rock too. Appreciate you jumping on. Everybody that joined tonight, we appreciate you.
Thanks,
Boys,
Rodney.
do you have any closing comments? Anything you want to say?
No, I just look forward to seeing everybody
Thanks,
at the
Rodney.
Raleigh show. If you're going to be up there, look forward to seeing everybody throughout the tournament season. If you're in the local area and you want to go fishing and you don't have a boat, or you do have a boat, hit us up, man. We all live close to bodies of water. When I was out on the lake a couple days ago, ended up running into one of the guys that watches our shows, and he came over to me, or I went over to him, and we started, bullshitting and stuff and having a good time and just talking fishing. And then we went our separate ways. So we want to talk to you guys and interact with you. And if we can get a chance to go fishing, like, let's do it.
And we always do. Trey and I and some others do catch, weigh, release.
Like
little spawn events in the summer. For in the spring for a couple bucks at the ramp.
Yeah, I got to beat Pete this year. He beat me by 1 ounce last year.
Not even an ounce.
Did you guys get your L15 yet?
Yeah.
No, because we're doing catch, weigh,
release.
So we don't need one. So we're gonna do a little. We do those every once in a while. Maybe I'll throw one up when we're gonna do it. And if y'all want to come out,
just come out,
join in that, and we'll have a good time fishing and BSing and talking some smack.
Paul kayakers are welcome too.
Kayakers are always welcome. Yeah, but no motors. You have to pedal. So
you can hold on to my boat.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually did that. I got a video. I'll post it sometime of just taking my buddies across the lake with one arm here and then the other guy holding the boat. So we got you, man.
David, definitely let's fish. Let us know, brother. Appreciate y'all again.
All right, guys.
Carolina Waters, One Cast Fishing, Eric Schwinn, Mossy Oak Properties. Check them out. Check out all the veterans organizations we talk about. Help us continue to grow a culture of anglers helping anglers, one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.